The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour.
ChatGPT did become the world's most downloaded non-gaming app.
Literally the job of everyone in government to address the media and the public.
What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Zandy Silva as the deputy PLP leader?
A community that can't feed itself is a community that doing.
What you may not know, though, is that Bermuda, we have a connection with Epstein, too.
Things that people are doing right, the youth are doing right, that is not being advertised enough.
When you see your access to U.S. dollars disappear, that's when you have a problem.
You've got a town in the UK with a similar sized population. This place absolutely outshines it.
It's Friday, the 27th day of March, 2026. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamel Hartman, and we'll have a news break from Teo Dill in a bit. How's everyone feeling today? Happy Friday to every last one of you. Suzanne Ingham says, happy Sherry Day. It's Friday. It's super awesome day indeed to be alive. Well, you know, I'm telling her business, man. You know, every time I go to Bermuda, I bring Sherry back popcorn. I do. No, I'm not saying that she gets it every time I return. I'm not saying that. But every time I go, I bring her some back. Well, Sherry just got back from Bermuda this week. I wonder if she bought me a hot cross bun or something. You all think she... See, I've changed. You know, 2 months ago, I would have called somebody live when I remember, like called the hotel at the time, but I'm not going to call her live. But just thinking, you know, I wonder if she bought me back a hot cross bun or something since it's that time. You seen the going rate for fish cakes? Man, I'm not calling any names, but you all might want to put some effort in the kitchen based on the prices people are selling fish cakes for, if that's your thing. Alrighty. Well, anyway, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman onto the show. Folks, we're going to be discussing her new book and how she's helping people reclaim their health naturally. Look, man, I got my annual physical earlier this week, and cholesterol is still high, but I'm not on the medication anymore, and it's coming down, and I'm using some natural stuff, and I'm happy about that. Still a long way to go, but I'm all into the natural thing. If we can do things naturally without traditional medication, I'm all for it. So really looking forward to the conversation with Dr. Pearman this morning. The Daily Play is the things you should know. Yeah, this is the things you should know. So all of us should know the answer to this question, apparently. I had no idea, but you all are much smarter than me. Do me a favor. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, folks. Well, let's get to it. We've got Claire Warner says, good morning, Bermuda. It's Friday indeed, and good morning to you. Yes, Suzanne, I agree. Make your own fish cakes if that's your thing. Well, look. We've got a question for you this morning. It's kind of Friday fun day, but it's not. But it's a conversation I think everyone is happy to have. And the questions of the morning are very simple. What are some things that would keep you in Bermuda or convince you to return? And do you live or have you ever relocated outside of Bermuda? Do you live or have you ever relocated outside of Bermuda? Those are your questions this morning. And let me tell you why we're discussing this, folks. Let me share with you why. So today's conversation is for all of us, whether you're in Bermuda or whether you're tuned in from outside of Bermuda. Because we often talk about Bermudians who have left, but we don't always talk about the most important question, or we don't ask the most important question. What would it take to bring Bermudians back? And at the same time, for those still in Bermuda, what do you believe would bring Bermudians home? What do you believe will keep Bermudians home? Because this affects everyone. Bermuda has an aging population. We need more people in our workforce. The public service is hiring. The hospitality industry needs people. But beyond that, we need people. We need skills. We need experience. We need Bermudians invested in Bermuda. So if you are overseas right now, what would make you return? Would it be better job opportunities, more affordable housing, a lower cost of living, stronger career growth, a better education system for your children? And for those of you in Bermuda, be honest. If you left tomorrow, what would have to change to make you come back? Because coming home isn't just emotional. It has to make sense. People have built lives overseas, careers, stability, opportunities for themselves and their children. So returning has to feel like a step forward, not a sacrifice. And maybe that's where Bermuda has to focus. Not just asking people to come home, but creating a country they want to come home to. So today we're asking whether you're in Bermuda or abroad, what would it take to both keep Bermudians in Bermuda, but also bring Bermudians who've relocated back home? This is an interesting one, folks, because as you know, to be very frank with you, I don't know if many of you realize this because my Bermudian accent is so heavy, but I've actually lived the majority of my life outside of Bermuda. Yeah, when you do the numbers, I've lived the majority of my life outside of Bermuda. Now, initially that was for school, and then, working, and then the marriage thing, and then, the whole thing about conscription and Bermudian not loving people like me, outspoken black men, both black and white Bermuda, right? So yeah, I've literally spent the majority of my life outside of Bermuda. However, I remain a strong connection to Bermuda. I'm in Bermuda pretty often. I like to tell people I live between both. I stay very connected with the community. I still am involved in different things throughout the community. I consider Bermuda my home, regardless of where I've lived. The only other place I've said is a home, like a second home to me, was Rhode Island, because that's where I did finished my formal education and also began my career. But what are your thoughts, audience? I haven't answered the question, did I? But what are some things that would keep you in Bermuda or convince you to return if you've left Bermuda? But also, just let us know individually, do you live or have you ever relocated outside of Bermuda? Let's go to the audience. We've got Sean Smith says, currently living outside of Bermuda. Okay. What would it take to get you back to Bermuda, Sean? WKD Lama says, currently in London. I would return for a job with good wage. Okay. What kind of job and what kind of wage? Like, if you don't mind, and again, we're a community. We're not a family. We're a community. And you don't have to overshare with us. But we're just trying to get to somewhere of understanding. So if you want to share, like, what do you do where you're at now? And could you not do that in Bermuda? Limestone Living says, currently living in Bermuda, but have lived overseas, was raised between the USA and Bermuda. Okay. And what keeps you in Bermuda, Limestone Living? Suzanne Ingham says, I left Bermuda in September 1978 and returned in December 1978. Yes, during the riots. I could not handle California. I was out there in 1971 and 1972 for my last year of high school. And how was that experience? You said you couldn't handle it. How was it? Sean Smith says, honestly, he doesn't know what will make him return to Bermuda. Doesn't know. Charles H. Jeffers II says, I thought this was supposed to be Friday Fun Day daily discussion. This isn't a fun discussion, but it's necessary. No, I said, I don't know if this is going to be fun. It should be, right, though, Charles? It should be. But yeah, absolutely. It's a necessary conversation. It's absolutely necessary. We've got Suzanne Ingham says, Bermuda has its issues, but it is my home. I don't think I could live elsewhere. It's home. California was a nightmare twice. Interesting. I've never fancied California. It's just too far from me. Personally, I've never fancied it. Tamika Miranda says, sincere human rights for all, including adequate supports in schools. Okay. So I get, just Tamika, if you don't mind, what do you mean sincere human rights for all, including adequate supports in schools? Go a bit deeper in terms of that's what will keep you in Bermuda, or that's what will have you relocate? Like, what do you mean by that? Also, again, audience, what are some things that would keep you in Bermuda or convince you to return to Bermuda? And also, do you live or have you ever relocated outside of Bermuda? I only ask Tamika Miranda those questions, folks, because I remember having this conversation amongst the Daily Hour team as it relates to human rights, whatever that means, because it means different things to different people. And I'm like, well, Bermuda is actually one of the, I didn't say this. Someone else said it. And they just said, despite the challenges we have with certain things in Bermuda, Bermuda is actually a place where things are relaxed, comparatively speaking. Really, you're only talking about liberal Western European countries that may fit the bill of what's traditionally been called human rights or acceptable human rights. But Bermuda's traditionally done pretty well. I mean, Bermuda's outdone many places when it comes to, comparatively speaking, again, rights and so on. And another person spoke about women, and Bermuda was ahead of the game with that as well. Women leaders, as far as leading the island as premier. We've done pretty well in that aspect. I think what we need to do is stop looking to the United States as a barometer. I don't think it's the best country to look at for a barometer. But yeah, I think Bermuda's done pretty well. So I'm always interested in hearing what people have to say when they do mention things like human rights. Not that I disagree with them, but I just, because those discussions can go in so many different ways. Ashika Rana says, same here, lived the majority of my time outside of Bermuda. Can't envision returning, as I still remember feeling unwanted professionally when I returned after college, but it has crossed my mind recently. I think that's where I'm at, Shika. That's where I'm at. I think I didn't just feel unwanted. I felt disrespected as a Black male. I want to say this without being offensive, but I'll never forget a colleague telling me when I worked at the Bermuda Tourism Authority that one of the C-suite persons, they were not Bermudian, said, we need to act more like a certain Black member in the BTA. And I said, that tells us everything we need to know. What they're simply saying is just go along with things. Don't fight or stand up for things, and you'll get whatever. And it's a sad thing. It's a very sad situation that's the example that they expect us to follow, especially when things are not wrong, when there's no equity. It's sad. But unfortunately, that leads to people wanting to relocate and not be in those spaces. Yeah. All right. What else, audience? What are some things that would keep you in Bermuda or convince you to return? And do you live or have you ever lived outside of Bermuda? This is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Limestone Living says, what keeps me? My family, hands down. Yeah, that's what would have me return in a heartbeat. Family, man. No lie, family. WKD Lama says, I am work analytics. Oh, I work in analytics. Yeah, I work in analytics, but I also do IT. There are not many jobs advertised in data analytics. So, interesting. I'm sure, when we had the head of the public service on Sherry Ritter, there will be opportunities in government like that. But hopefully, if a job opens up, we can get someone like yourself return if it's, what you're looking for. Limestone Living says, but I will leave it if it means better opportunities educationally for my kids. There you go. I know people who've left Bermuda for their children, and it done them well. It done them very well. We've got Tamika Miranda says, that's what would keep me. The lack of it makes me want to leave. And she's talking about human rights. She says LGBTQ and neurodiversity. Well, I don't know much about neurodiversity, but as the person who was from the LGBT community said to me at the time, when they were saying actually Bermuda is actually ahead of many countries when it comes to things for LGBTQ. I would have to agree. I think people would be shamed to actually do something against LGBT, like not rent to someone or not hire them because of that. I think Bermuda is actually a safe space, comparatively speaking. The only countries I can think of that wouldn't be are mainly Western European countries. And I don't look at them as for advancement. I just don't. I don't. I'm sorry. But I don't think Bermuda is worse off as bad as we make it seem, comparatively speaking. Again, but that's just my opinion, not saying that she's wrong. Shikarana says a paid for home and an income source. That's what would make her return. All right. Yeah, paid for home sounds like a plan because, of course, living in Bermuda. Stanko for Bermuda says, I believe Bermuda is the only country in the world with a holiday dedicated to a woman, the Mary Prince holiday. Interesting. That would be an interesting. No, I'm going to have to check that out. Folks, that is an interesting fact, if true. I mean, again, I think Bermuda's done pretty well as far as, the idea of rights and so on and honoring different people in different spaces. I think Bermuda has done very well with that. Zena Woolridge says, I only lived outside of Bermuda for formal education. I stayed because my career has allowed me to positively impact our society, and that is important to me. She also says, I also think that part of the reason I stay is stubbornness. I refuse to be pushed out of my home. I agree. I like the idea of making an impact positively. I'm grateful that I've been able to do that from afar, or at least I feel like I've been able to do that from afar. But to the second point, I get it. But I don't, as a person who's been called stubborn in the past, I don't think, for me, I don't feel like I was pushed out. I felt like, all right, you don't want me here. I'm gonna go somewhere where I'll still thrive. So I took it a bit differently. But the door, for me, it's never shutting that door, if that makes sense. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, I too have lived most of my life outside of Bermuda. I returned to Bermuda because I thought I could help to move it forward, despite being warned against it. Unfortunately, those warnings proved true. I want to say something, and I don't want to offend. I really don't want to be offensive. But I'll say it like this. I am concerned about the big fish, small pond mentality when it comes to Bermuda. And if he doesn't mind, I'm going to use Charles H. Jefferson II as an example. And to be fair, I'll use myself as an example after that. So Charles, as we know, returned to Bermuda to work in the tourism space, having worked many years in the C-suite areas in the tourism space in the DMC world, destination marketing world previously. I'm going to use myself so it's not just on him. When I started working at the Florida Panthers, I remember my boss of the day saying to me, she said, there are only 100-something professional sports franchises in the top 4 leagues in the United States. To work for one is like being drafted to play in one. I've been privileged to work for Disney when it was the second largest media company in the world, and work for a professional sports team that, after me leaving, went on to win titles. I missed out on a ring. Charles has excelled in executive positions outside of Bermuda. I don't say this to be offensive, but it concerns me. It does concern me that we have so many talented people who've been successful in spaces outside of Bermuda. I'll use radio for instance. I started in radio. One of my bosses in radio said to get into this industry also is like winning the lottery. Despite my accent, I was able to break in and work on a morning show. It's something about Black Bermudians when they excel beyond Bermuda. They are not treated the same. They're not welcomed the same, despite the experiences they may have had. There was a certain CEO who, in my opinion, had no connection to Bermuda, that was brought back to Bermuda to head the Bermuda Tourism Authority. Lacked any kind of experience that a Charles Jeffers had. But he was seen, and still is seen, as the savior. Those are the kind of things that make me feel like Bermuda doesn't love us. And so I go back to Sheikha Reina's comment earlier when she said she still remembers feeling unwanted. For me, I just didn't feel respected. I didn't feel loved. Like, you literally had people like Colonel Burchin then trying to criminalize me because I didn't agree with their oppressive law. So, no, I didn't feel the love. For me, it was, and keep in mind, I love Bermuda. I mean, at the time I was mentoring for YouthNet, I was coaching at my beloved North Village, but the other stuff I just couldn't get past. Let's go through the other comments. Again, audience, we're asking, what are some things that would keep you in Bermuda or convince you to return? Or do you live in, or have you ever relocated outside of Bermuda? Let us know that as well. We've got Senko for Bermuda says, going along to get along only benefits those who are requesting it. Indeed. 911 Island Girl says, yes, lived in California as a military wife. While relocation didn't work out when it was supposed to, it's still on the table. In the meantime, it's you, Jamel. You made me realize that for now, I am living the life others want, free to travel and leave when I want to for as long as I want as an early retiree. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. To me, that's a perfect life. Honestly, if you can afford it, if you're able, that's a perfect life. Angeline Butler says, I only lived outside of Bermuda for some high school and tertiary education, if that counts. I re my career, which I still enjoy, and family. Perfect reasons. Perfect reasons. Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman says, I lived overseas for 9+ years and returned to be here for my parents. Best decision ever to take care of them. There you go. Family will always get you home, man. I'm telling you. We've got Nicole Walker says, I have considered relocating just for a different experience. I understand why people leave for their kids or their own education and for more affordable living and career opportunities. We've got Alan Kate Horton says, other than my university years, I lived outside of Bermuda for 18 years. Wow. Woo. Miss Angeline Butler says, speak, Jamal. Folks, look, I think the idea is always, I have one of my good friends, Ralph Gumbo Bean Jr. When we guys were younger, we go out, drink, have fun. And he had this rule, always tell us, whatever you do, no matter how late you stay out, always make it home. And I treat this the same, right? People ask me all the time, would you ever return to Bermuda? Bermuda's home. You always want to. But as I said in my opening monologue, it has to make sense. It has to make sense. It has to make sense. Folks, this was your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. We're going to just Well, I'll read one more comment, then we'll show them some love. Go to the news break. Then we've got an exciting conversation coming up with Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman. I'm looking forward to this one. Maurice Foley says, I relocated back to Bermuda after 30 years living in the US and South Africa, and it was the best decision I made to be able to be home for family and use my education experiences to Bermuda's advantage. Good stuff. All right, well, let's go to show some love to Titan Express Secure, and then we'll go to the Daily Hour news break with Teo.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Titan Express delivers safe, professional, and reliable transportation and tours across the island. From island tours to cultural experiences, they set the standard. And Secure is your go-to for property management, waste management, and residential and commercial services. Visit securebda.com. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is their commitment to you.
All right, folks. We are going to go to the Daily Hour news break, but do us a favor because, again, got a very special guest today. I'm really looking forward. This is not her first time, but first time speaking about what she's talking about today. And I love conversations about living healthier and better. So do us a favor. Make sure you share the conversation on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram, whatever platform you're on. Give us a like, love, follow, share it. Again, so much love to everyone who I do see that shares it on our WhatsApp status. We want to make sure everyone you know has access to these most important community conversations. Let's go to the news break. See what Teo Dill has for us today. Stick with us.
Good morning, I'm Teo Dill, and welcome to your TDH News Break brought to you by the great folks at Peoples. 41 years behind us, a new chapter ahead. Peoples Pharmacy, always here for you. By the end of next week, a new national platform to help connect people with online skills building and the relevant job opportunities is set to go live. This from Economy and Labor Minister Jason Hayward during a press briefing yesterday afternoon announcing the launch of Bermuda Job Connect.
This platform is about helping people move forward. It makes it easier to find work, build skills, and connect with employers. And it will go live on April 6th. The new Job Connect is a major improvement from the Bermuda Job Board. The Bermuda Job Connect allows the government to better support job seekers and employers, and it gives us the tools to understand what is happening in the workforce. For example, the new platform includes advanced reporting and data insights.
The Workforce Development Director, Malika Cartwright, explained the key differences between the existing Bermuda Job Board platform versus the soon-to-be-launched Bermuda Job Connect.
With the current job board, it's quite static. You create a profile, an employer will post a job, you look and see there's a job for a journalist, and you apply for that job. On Bermuda Job Connect, we take it a step further. You can create your profile, you can select journalism as one of your favorites. You can look at videos of journalists and what their pathway has been to become a journalist. You can see what the qualifications are for a journalist, and if there are any micro-credentials that you can take on Bermuda Job Connect prior to applying for the job, you can do those as well. And the employer will see that you have a badge on your profile that you've taken this micro-credential.
And a confrontation between a member of the public and a government officer is drawing attention to Bermuda's feral chicken control program. Officials say the incident involved a resident interfering with an officer actively carrying out culling procedures, including attempts to retrieve sedated chickens. That forced the officer to change course mid-operation, raising concerns about both safety and animal welfare. Government says these interventions disrupt the control process designed to manage serious environmental and public health impacts, and they're making it clear obstructing a public officer is an offense, including when we presume you're trying to save feral chickens for some undisclosed reason. And speaking of feral chickens, 100 or so of them have left a small village in the UK experiencing a whole bunch of tension, stress, and conflict, like they're beefing for real, due to the presence of these chickens. One group of residents wants them gone. The other believes they're living creatures worthy of respect and care, and they were there first. It's a whole thing. Check it out.
When you buy a house here, you've got to be blind not to see the chickens.
It is the age-old question. What came first, the chickens or the housing estate? Well, the answer is the chickens by quite a long way, but the distance between the two is tiny. The nearby pub is overwhelmingly pro-poultry. Landlady, aptly named Mrs. Wing, has never heard any complaints.
If they're not harming anyone, let them be.
They've been there for years, and I think they should stay there.
So here at least, no appetite for locally sourced chicken on the menu.
And the Logos Hope, that is the biggest and most consequential floating book fair on the planet, was recently here in Bermuda. And if you're a parent, you almost certainly spent some time on the ship getting reading material with your kids for your kids. And the boat just published a video summarizing their time in Bermuda on their YouTube page. Here's an excerpt. They had a good time while they were here. And weather-wise, high pressure is building in, setting up a bright, settled end to the work week. Today is going to give us plenty of sunshine with dry and stable conditions across Bermuda. Winds stay light out of the southwest, increasing slightly into the night with a high near 72, low around 67. Now looking ahead, that sunshine should continue into the first half of the weekend before a cold front brings a few showers and stronger winds late Saturday through Sunday. And that's your TDH News Break brought to you by our friends at Peoples. I'm Teo Dill. Have a wonderful weekend. Now back to the show.
All right. Thanks so much for that, Tay. Appreciate you, good brother. Alrighty, folks, days of the year. We've got International Scribble Day. It's Wear a Hat Day. Actually, let me stop there real quickly. So I used to wear hats a lot because, and sunglasses, because my eyes are sensitive, whatnot. Anyway, I love hats, like especially like the, the round ones, whatever. I just like the style. This has absolutely nothing to do with hats, but it just made me think of it. So folks, I cut out the barber, right? Because, it just was too much. So I started using this shaver to shave my head. So yesterday was the first time ever in my life that I used a razor. So I met a friend, he's an actor in some of your favorite movies. So he gave me some tips to shave my head. So he sent me the razors he used. So I said, what do you think I did yesterday trying to shave my own head? Just take a guess. He told me everything, what to do and what not to do, folks. I shaved my own head yesterday for the first time. And basically, blood all on this side of my head. I cut myself, folks. Cut myself. So that said, if you see me in a hat out in public today, I'm just covering up a little cut. Yes, I did, Suzanne. You ain't got to tell my business. Yeah, come on, 9/11. Yeah, I did. That's why I said it first, so you ought to say it. Yeah, I cut myself. So all that said, I'm glad I cut myself so that now I know what to do. I was smooth after that. So yeah, I'm going to be wearing a hat. But anyway, days of the year, let's do it. So I said International Scribble Day, Wear a Hat Day. It's International Whiskey Day for those of you indulging that. But this is the one I like. It's Celebrate Exchange Day. Celebrate Exchange Day brings people from around the world together in a joyful moment. It welcomes international visitors, family members, and program leaders. They share bits of their culture and carry friendly smiles. Folks, here's how you can celebrate Exchange Day. Share food from your home. Like if you like to make a certain dish, then exchange it with someone else and maybe they give you their special dish. Try out new words. Like someone may like to use a certain word and you're like, oh, wait a second, why do you say that? And then you give them another word. I know, sounds silly, but no, seriously. Play games from around the world. You've got Bermuda trivia. If you have friends that are not from Bermuda, play it with them. At the same time, you're learning about Bermuda. Listen and connect. Listen and connect. And most of all, exchange intellect, knowledge. Exchange it. The world will be better for it. More kind and more peaceful. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Do not go anywhere. In the meantime, give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, family, colleagues. We'll be back in about 3:57 with our very special guest. We've got Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman. Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Pair with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear. You can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
What lasts isn't what you buy, but what it becomes. With the HSBC MasterCard credit card, every spend quietly adds to a story shaped by intention and offers what matters most. Support that meets you where you are. Protection that preserves what you choose. Confidence for the unexpected. Peace of mind wherever your story leads. Start your next chapter. Use your card today. HSBC is licensed to conduct banking and investment business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
What if the age that really matters isn't the one on your ID? You probably know your chronological age, the number of candles on your last birthday cake. But there's another kind of age that may be even more important, your biological age. This reflects how old your body truly is at the cellular level. It is influenced by your genes, your environment, and the choices you make every day. Two people can both be 40 years old on paper, but one may have the body of a healthy 30-year-old, while the other is biologically closer to 50. The difference? Lifestyle choices on nutrition, sleep, stress, exercise, and exposure to toxins. That means you have some control over your biological clock, and that's exactly what makes it so powerful. Because when it comes to aging, it's not just about living longer, it's about living better. Want to know your predicted biological age today? Download the free Carry Genetics app and fill in the lifestyle questionnaire.
All righty, welcome back to the Big Show. Jamel Hartman here. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. Folks, please do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Well, without further ado, we're a bit behind, but let's give a warm TDH welcome to our very special guest for the day. Please welcome Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman. Hello.
Hello, Jamal. It's been a minute, so it's good to be back.
It has, and we're happy to have you back. First off, how are things going? Because last time you were here for the reading clinic and helping children, you're always helping people, right? Which is not bad. But you were helping our young people with the reading. Now you've taken the opportunity to write a book, and we'll talk about that. And you're helping people live healthier lives. For those who may not know Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman, just tell a bit about your background and your journey toward where we are.
So it's been an interesting journey. Many years ago, my children are, I don't want to say their ages, but my youngest is now 33. And when I was pregnant with my second child, my second daughter, I really had a tough time in the sense that I gained a lot of weight. I was heading towards toxemia, and I didn't want that for my third pregnancy. So I actually started to employ some healthy methods, which I learned from my denomination, Seventh-day Adventist Church, on actually living healthier. And so as a result of that, I started to employ this in my lifestyle, went plant-based. I don't consider myself vegan because vegan doesn't mean healthy, but I started to make some changes in our lifestyle as far as incorporating more whole plants in our diet. And as a result, my children were not sick. They were pretty healthy. And they didn't have the seasonal colds and flus that everyone else was having because of how they were eating. So that was like 30 plus years ago when I first started on this journey.
I want to ask audience, is anyone in the audience plant-based? Yes or no? Or has anyone ever ventured that's, toward plant-based and then come off it? But I'd like to know, just a yes or no. You can, even if you're not, but yes or no, are you plant-based? Now, your work on helping people reclaim their health naturally. What inspired you to write the book, like the book in particular, and what message do you hope readers take away from it?
So that was interesting because I had been collecting data. When anyone did any of my programs, I had been collecting data along the way. And I was starting to watch a trend and seeing, wow, people are, I actually started it to lose weight. That was the real beginning. But I started to realize that people were just getting healthier. They were coming off of medications. They were not only losing the weight, but they were like reclaiming their health. And I was like, wow. And then as I went deeper into it and started to do this as a full-time basis, I had people who were not diabetic anymore, who the high blood pressure was cured. They were no longer high cholesterol. When they were going back for their blood work, their numbers were normalized now. And so I said, wow, I'm really onto something. So I started to capture their stories, their testimonies. And then I started to say, I need to put this in a book form. So it's not just, something that I'm doing with just my clients, but so people can actually learn about this and see that this method actually works. So one thing that I would like people to take away is that our bodies are always looking to heal. Always looking to get to balance. But if we don't give it the right conditions, we can't get their place. But if we do give it the right conditions, then we can get to a place where we're actually healthy and able to sustain wellness.
You draw from years of experience in education, coaching, and naturopathic wellness. All have those disciplines shaped your approach to health?
So one thing I've recognized is that education is key. And as you know, being educated man and all that your education has helped you, most people just don't understand what's going on in their bodies. They don't understand how one thing connects to the other. So I take my education background and then my coaching, and I put it together to help people to recognize once you learn to understand what's going on, now here's what you can do. And then I'm there as a coach to support. And then recognizing that the naturopathic piece is how to help people to heal naturally under the right conditions. So when you bring all that together, people can actually get lasting results.
Indeed. And audience, if you have any questions or comments, please send them through. We'll get through as many questions and comments as possible. Again, yes or no, just asking the audience, are you plant-based or have you ever been plant-based? Stacey Ann Brown said no, but Suzanne Ingham says yes because of Dr. Pearman. She's awesome. Let's go into philosophy because your philosophy centers around the 8 laws of health. Can you break those down in terms and explain why they're so powerful?
Okay, so some people may have heard about New Star. That's a pretty famous or well-known acronym that's out there, and it was coined by the Weimer Institute. But again, just mentioning my denomination, they have a health message. And the foundation of the health message looks at the 8 laws of health, or some people call it the 8 natural doctors. And so those are based on the fact, I've coined it into an acronym called REFRESH with 2 S's. And so my R stands with relationship with God. I believe that you need to have a relationship with a higher power. For me, that's Jehovah God. And then eating healthy, it's not just well enough to just eat, but you want to be able to eat foods that actually nourish and strengthen your body. And many of us are eating things now that are not food and wondering why we're getting sick and why we got illnesses and why we're gaining weight and all of that. And then it's about the fresh air. Most people don't realize we get 80% of our nutrients from fresh air. The oxygen that we breathe in is critical for our health and wellness. And then it's the rest. Most people you may eat well and you may exercise, but if you're not getting that 8 hours, that magical 8 hours of sleep per night, your body can detoxify and do what it's supposed to do during those rest hours. And then it's the exercise, the moving of your body. If you don't move it, you lose it. And then the sunlight, that sunlight helps to detoxify the body. It takes the nutrients and it transforms it and makes it so that our bodies can uptake it. It helps with our moods. And then it's self-control, knowing, too much is not good and not enough is not good. How do you have that balance? And then the last but most important one, I think, is hydration. Most people underestimate the power and the necessity of water, which is the elixir of life.
Indeed. I love everything about what you just said. And it's interesting because I think one of the excuses people have for not being healthy is they don't have time, right? I don't have time to go for a walk. I don't have time to make healthy meals. The eating out, right? The not just the eating out, but the what's it called? When you're ordering in, takeout,
fast food, takeout.
Yeah, like people just feel like they don't have time. If someone said, "Oh, Dr. Pearman, I'm trying, but I just don't have time," like what would you say to them?
I think first of all, you have to really have a system in place and plan. I tell my clients, plan what you're going to eat for the week. Don't just be haphazard, because when you're haphazard, that's when you rely back on old habits. You bring something in, then you're like, oh my gracious, what did I eat? I'm big on what's in the food because I'm very careful about what I actually put in my body because, I tell my husband, you can eat out, but I'm going to make it myself because seed oils and you don't know how long the oil's been there and worse, the cross contamination. So I'm probably very rigid or disciplined when it comes to, but it's really looking to see what system can work for you and finding quick ways to make food that doesn't have to be so taxing on you. And so when you learn that, eating healthy doesn't mean you have to labor in the kitchen. I do not labor in the kitchen. I plan, I make food, and we alternate it so that we've got enough food for a couple of days and then I'll cook again. But also making sure that I have on hand the fruits and the vegetables so that when I want to make a salad or a raw meal, I quickly have it in my refrigerator. So it's a lot about planning, being planful.
Yeah. Audience, if you have any questions or comments, send them through. It's interesting because I got juices for a couple of my family members for the holiday season.
Nice.
I hadn't used my juicer all year until last week, and I've used it 3 times in the last 2 weeks. And one of the reasons is I think I got it for a reason, and I think we start to do things and then we let days out. For those who struggle to make those lasting lifestyle changes, like, they start, but it's like, okay, then something happens. What are some practical steps people can take, not only to begin transforming their habits, but to maintain them long term?
Right. I think the first thing, people need to be honest. Like, where are you? You didn't get there overnight. People have to recognize, I had to recognize that I didn't get to the weight I was at just overnight. This is years, this is months and years of not taking care of myself, not getting the rest, not getting the exercise and outside and all of that. And so the first thing I think is people need to acknowledge where I am and where do I want to be? It's almost like current, present situation, future situation. And then what's the bridge to get you there? Many people just don't know where to start. They don't know, okay, they know they need to make a change. They know but they don't know where to start. And it's easy to listen to, someone on social media, oh, try this and do that. But I treat every client as an individual because no one is the same. Our needs are different. What's happening internally to us is different. And so what may work for one person may be disastrous for someone else. So it's not always about following a fad or something that is out there. It's really about trying to get to know what do you need, right? And then when you discover what is necessary for your body to heal, then that's the path that you need to get on.
You know what concerns me? I'm glad you brought up social media. I think we live in a world of trends, right? And fads, right? You see people who have done things like keto diets and so on, and they lost weight. Then before you know it, the weight's put back on. You do have people who are doing different supplements now. What they're called, A1C things and so on.
Yes.
For some reason it looks unhealthy. And this is not a criticism of those folks. Folks can do what they want. It's not a criticism. But with those options available to people, like the fad diets, the trends, how do you get people to or convince people that this is the better way to go?
So in reality, we want quick fixes, right? Everything is quick for us. Microwave, we grew up as the microwave children. We want everything done in 2 minutes. But what we have to recognize is that, you could try a diet, a keto diet, or you can take, a shot or whatever. But if you're not getting to the cause of why you are where you are, then really you can be doing more harm to yourself. So it's easy to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to do this. But if you don't discover really what's happening with you and why you're here, down the road, you're going to have a bigger problem. And one thing that most people fail to recognize is their bodies need to detox. So you can, and I talk about this in my book, this is the cover of my book here. But, if you just go ahead and employ a diet, but you haven't detoxed your body, you can start to lose the weight, right? And you can start to get to the place where, oh, I feel good, but then you plateau. And people wonder, okay, I can't get past this plateau. And then after a while, your body, the weight comes back, and it comes back with friends because we never address the toxicity issue. And so, and then what happens is when you start to diet, you exercise more, you decrease your calories, then the fat gets released, and then those toxins get released into your body. Now you've got this plethora of toxins that were hidden in your fat cells, now are all through your body. And now you're overloaded with toxins. Your body now says, oh my goodness, I've got to take care of this. So it starts making more fat to gobble up all those toxins to keep your organs safe from the toxicity that's existing in your body. And so you could try these things, but if you haven't changed your mindset, if you haven't changed your cravings, then those things are just going to flood back to you and more. And that's what I've discovered with my own self, but also with my clients.
Indeed. So make sure we're detoxing, but also, and you mentioned mindset, because you emphasize both physical and mental wellness.
Yes.
Speak to how those two areas connect and why it's important to address them together.
Well, the reality is we're multidimensional beings, right? We are really five. It's the spiritual, the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the social. And, you can will yourself to be unwell. You talk negative things to yourself and you hear negative things. It's like that self-fulfilling prophecy I taught as to my students, or learned as an education major way back in the day, that whole psychology. If you say it and you believe it, then it will be. And so the mental and the physical are inextricably combined. There is the vagus nerve that runs all the way from the brain all the way down to the gut, really. And so what happens to us mentally impacts us physically, and what happens to us physically impacts us mentally. But then when you put the other dimensions with that, the emotional and the social and the spiritual, all of that. So if you're out of whack in one way, it impacts you in another way. That's why you have emotional eaters. When you're emotionally unwell, what do? You sit there and you eat a whole tub of ice cream, or you eat the whole bag of cookies or the whole bowl of popcorn, because you're emotionally having challenges, which leads to your mental. And so now you're reacting in a physical way. That's why when people are depressed, what do? Some don't eat and some eat too much. And so there's that inextricable connection, not just physically in the sense there is the vagus nerve that runs from the brain to the gut, but it also happens because there's a symbiotic relationship between our 5 dimensions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got some questions from the audience. Stacey Ann Brown's asking, and audience, I'll get through as many questions and comments as possible. Keep them coming. She's asked, what are the best ways to detox?
So I'm going to put up my book. It's called The Detox Juicing Blueprint. So I believe that the best way to detox is using natural fruit and vegetable herb juices, because they are flooding your body with nutrients, and the nutrients being vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients and antioxidants and enzymes to help your body to detox. I mean, our body has detox pathways regularly, right? Our liver, our digestive system, our kidneys, our skin, we have pathways already in place. But when they get overloaded and overburdened with these toxins, they cannot, and I forgot to mention our lymphatic system, they cannot keep up with the demand to detoxify the body. So when you introduce detox juicing to your regimen, then you are actually helping the body to get rid of the toxins. So there are like greens, for example, when you juice kale and I call them cruciferous vegetables, kale and broccoli and cauliflower, collard greens and bok choy, those actually help to take the toxins out of the body. When you use things like ginger and pineapple, now you're getting rid of inflammation. When you use things like parsley, now you're helping parsley and cilantro, removing those metals from your body. So when you employ detox juicing, not only are you nourishing your body, you're also helping your body get rid of toxins that are in every organ, in your tissues, in your cells. Your body is now able to get rid of them.
Indeed. Thank you. And I'm going to get to you, but Nicole Walker's asking, do you have any upcoming classes? Yeah, give it to us now.
Yes. So I'm actually starting a Refresh Yourself program. Starts on April the 5th until May the 3rd, where we are employing the detoxing, and then we start with the detoxing and detox juicing, and people can choose however long they want to detox. The minimum is 3 days. I've juiced the maximum 12 days myself. I've had clients that have wanted to lose major weight, and they've detoxed for 30 days straight, no food, just drinking detox juices. And so it depends on what your goals are. But then we add in, after the detox fasting we add in raw fruits, then we add in raw vegetables, then we add in cooked vegetables and soaked nuts and seeds, then we add in legumes, and then we add not legumes, grains, and then we add in legumes. So by the end of the 30 days, we are actually bringing all the plant foods, whole plant foods, back into the diet. Your body has now had the opportunity to cleanse, to reset. Hopefully, if you've been too acidic, you come down to being balanced. If you're too alkaline, you come down into balance. And I know there's a big thing about alkaline, but you don't want to be too alkaline. You want to be balanced. You want to be in the middle, not too acidic and not too alkaline.
Indeed. Talk to us. Where can we get this book? I think the audience needs to know. They want to know. I'm telling you, they want to know where can I find this book? Where can I learn more about how to detox and what kind of juices I can make?
So I actually have books. I have them in my own Health and Wellness Center in St. George's. So people can get in contact with me. I don't have them on my website to purchase them yet. I haven't gotten that far. I did have some at Brown & Co. in the bookmark. I'm not sure. There were a couple there a couple of weeks ago. If you want there is a ebook which you can buy from Amazon if you have an Amazon account. Amazon sells my books as well, but I have them on island as well. So you can get them directly from me at this point. Yes.
Advice. What before you head out, just this is a topic, and it used to be a New Year's thing. I'm glad people have gotten away from the New Year's thing, right? But there may be someone tuned in right now who just feels overwhelmed. They feel stuck in their house. What encouragement or advice would you offer to help them take control of their health?
So the first thing I would tell someone is start drinking your water. Most of us undervalue water. Being dehydrated is a serious matter. Most people don't recognize the complications that come as a result. When we're dehydrated, we cause our blood to get thick and viscous, which makes it difficult to go through our bodies, to flow through our bodies. And when our bodies can't push that oxygen through, that's when we get high blood pressure, because our hearts are now trying to push this thick blood. Our vascular system constricts. And so now you got this thick blood trying to flow through constricted veins and arteries, right? We're getting a decrease in oxygen to the brain, to the liver, which needs water and oxygen to function properly. And so the first thing I tell, get your water right. I always tell people you should be drinking at least 40% of your body weight in ounces over a 10-hour period. So some people may think, well, I drink a lot of water, but they'll drink 16 ounces, a whole chug, 16 ounces in the morning. They don't drink the water again until after lunch. Then they don't drink water again until later. So now you're going from overhydrated to dehydrated to overhydrated. Dehydration can cause you to have high blood pressure, diabetes. When your blood is not flowing properly, the glucose can't get from your cells, from your blood into your cells. So now it pools in your blood. When you get pricked, then they tell you got high glucose, when really it could be you just need to drink the water. We could have a stroke because the blood is clotting, because we're dehydrated. We could have a heart attack because the blood is clotting. Most people think, your arteries or, they get clogged up. But if your blood is thick and it's viscous, it's sticking, which means there's clumping together, you could have a heart attack or a stroke by being dehydrated. So the first thing I say is drink your water. That's the most number one thing. And 99% of people that come to see me are dehydrated. And they're having a whole lot of issues. The next thing I would say is you need support. Find someone who can support you, who can help you to know what's going on in your body. I do body chemistry testing, which is non-invasive, that can tell people what's going on in their bodies. I ask people questions like, once I get the results, and I'll say, tell me, are you having some issues with your leg or your ankle? And I say, is it the right ankle? And they'll say, yeah, it's the right ankle. How'd you know? Because the testing that I do can tell me that. I'll say, tell me, what's going on with your digestive system? Are you having problems with your colon? And they'll say, I have diverticulitis. Interesting. Or then I'll say to someone, tell me, is there something going on with your lungs right now? And they'll say, yeah, I've just had pneumonia. So the numbers that I take on people actually can tell you what's going on in your body. We can actually see, rather, I won't call any names, but we can actually see that some things can be going on that may not be detected till 10 years down the road, but the beginnings of them are being shown now in your tissues. Yeah.
How can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more, reach out, have further questions, or want to get into the program?
Sure. So I am on Facebook. I am under Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman, my personal page, which is my professional page as well. I am on Instagram. It's refresh, 2 S's, REFRESSH .ministry on Instagram. I just recently started TikTok. I'm not a TikToker, but I started a TikTok page. I have a website, which is www.refreshministrybda.com, refresh having 2 S's. I also have Facebook Refresh Ministry as well. So I have 2 Facebook profiles, one for the business and one for myself. And so every day I post. Also, you can get me at my email. It's info@refreshministrybda.com, or it can also be refresh.ministry@gmail.com. If somebody wants to send me a WhatsApp, my phone number, my business phone number is 703-7374. So that's all the ways you can get in contact with me.
Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman, thank you so much. Thank you for this
Yeah.
conversation. It's helpful. And please don't be a stranger. You've got some more programs, things that you're doing. Please reach us. Let us know what we can do to make sure people know
Sure.
what's going
So
on.
let me say this one thing. I want to just speak to Dr. Carrie, the genetics. What's it called? The
Carrie Genetics, Dr. Kariko
Carrie
Bowden.
Genetics. Yes, Dr. Karika Bowden. And you know, the advert that you had was about the age, right? Somebody could be 40 and they'd be different. And so what I found is that many people, their energy is low. And that's one thing that I'm able to detect as well with my testing, the energy level. And when someone's energy is low, their bodies can't fight infection, disease, bacteria, viruses. And so I had a client, and I'll just say this really quickly, an elderly lady. And, you know, she contacted me. She said, I'm had this infection, this and this and this and this. And so I said to her, your energy is very low. Your body, your immune system can't fight. So she came down, she got tested. Her energy was 0% out of 100.
Wow.
0. And I said, it's not a wonder why you're having these challenges, because you don't have anything to fight. All you have energy for is to breathe, your heart to beat, you know, your blood to flow, but there's no energy in your body to fight. So when you think about Carrie Genetics and the age, our bodies I can also tell if someone's dumping cells too fast. If you're dumping cells too fast, dead cells that is, then you're aging too quickly. So, you know, there's a real science to body chemistry. It's more accurate than blood work, you know, because your blood is always trying to maintain its pH. So if your blood pH goes down, it's going to pull from your organs, your bones, your teeth to keep itself in a normal state until it can't do it anymore. But by now your body's depleted because your calcium's been pulled, your phosphorus has been pulled, you know, it's pulling everything, the nutrients, and you're left with cavities or, you know, malnourishment or what have you. So I would suggest to anyone, just get some help, just find out where your starting point is. I give my clients a starting point that we work towards getting to healthy, so that we know where we started and this is where we're getting to. So you know if you're on the road to health or if you're on the road to disease.
Yeah, this is helpful. Thank you so much for the
Thank you for
conversation.
having me.
You gave a lot of gems. Let's live healthier. You have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman.
Thank you. And you do the same. And to everyone who's listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Folks, that was Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman. If you appreciated that conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Take that information and do with it what you will, but hopefully it helps you live better. We're going to take our final break. Do not go anywhere. It's not a trick question. We'll be back in 3:40 with your daily play, and I'll give my final words as we wrap it up for the weekend.
Life moves fast, and so can the unexpected. When you insure your home, you need to know that your insurance company has your back. At Friesenbrook, let one of our friendly and professional agents give you that peace of mind. Because when you are covered, you are confident. Call us at 296-3600 or visit friesenbrook.bm to learn more.
Bermuda, there's nothing like a home-cooked meal, especially when you can feed the whole family without stretching your wallet. With the affordable Bermuda basket, you'll find savings on everyday staples like rice, chicken, corn, and more. everything you need to make a good meal for less. Shop the Bermuda Basket at Lindo's, Marketplace, the Garden Market, and the English Market. Visit costofliving.gov.bm to see the full list of goods and start planning your meals. This is a message from the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazark Feed and Supply has everything you need. From top quality foods to toys and supplies, we've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
The Office of Consumer Affairs protects residents by promoting fairness, safety, and transparency in the marketplace across the island. We investigate complaints, manage recalls, educate the public, and enforce consumer protection laws to ensure fair treatment for all. Our team supports consumers by resolving disputes, providing guidance, and helping residents understand their rights and responsibilities. We work with businesses to encourage compliance, ethical practices, and trust, helping create a stable and competitive economy. Through education, enforcement, and outreach, Consumer Affairs helps keep Bermuda's marketplace safe, informed, and accountable.
Alrighty, welcome back. Thanks again to Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman for stopping by. Such an informative conversation, helpful conversation. Always appreciate people doing the work to help others within the community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075, ensuring we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. Folks, if you haven't already, if you're streaming with us, just do us that huge favor. Give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, family, and colleagues. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, are you ready? It's a things you should know. Audience, how long does it take for the moon to rotate around the Earth? Yeah, not even any guesses. That means you're either Googling or AIing. Well, kind of close, Stacey Ann Brown. Kind of close, but I think this will be the first time I would have to say nope. No, Suzanne Ingham, not 24 hours. All right, the answer, according to things you should know, is 1 month. Or 29 and a half days. All right. So 1 month or 29 and a half days. That's how long it takes for the moon to rotate around the earth. All right. Now you could just go out there and see what day the full moon falls on to challenge that yourself. All right, folks, let's wrap it up. First off, as it relates to the discussion about leaving Bermuda, I think one thing I will say, no matter how far some of us go away from home, it's still where our heart is. And for whatever reason, without knowing the reasons or needing to know the reasons why people have left, my hope is that there will always be a good enough reason for all of us to return. And for those who have never left, I would hope that there will be more understanding and appreciation for those who have gone to pastures new. As far as the conversation with Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman, I really hope these conversations are helpful for us. A friend of mine told me something last summer, and it was something I catch myself doing now. Always look at what the first thing on the ingredients is, because that's what you're really eating or drinking. And something I started doing years ago, which is why I don't really drink soda or anything unless it's in one of my mocktails, which I don't drink often. I always started checking the sugar content. And when I go to get takeout at a Bermudian restaurant when I'm in Bermuda, the amount of sugars in the juices and drinks that people are getting with their meals is so unhealthy. And we don't talk about that enough. And I know when people were saying, oh, the sugar tax this, sugar tax that, the sugar tax probably should have came with a law where we are not allowed to sell drinks over this amount of sugar. That's what would have made sense if it was about health. But of course, that's been debated. Thank you to Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman. Folks, don't forget she's got a program starting April 5th. Let me give you some daily inspiration before you head out. All right. This goes back to what Dr. Kendra-Lee Pearman said about like social media and, dieting and trends and so on. And this is from my book, The Journey Within, that will be coming out later this year. So, quote, don't compare your life to what others portray on social media. Much of it isn't the real them. Live your life according to your goals and aspirations. Allow yourself to fail, learn, and grow. Focus on you and yours. Trust me, it's less stressful. What they say, comparison is the thief of joy, or joy of the, you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean. Anyway, folks, if you haven't already, make sure you give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, family, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Monday. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.